now look at something that I call the 888 principle. It's one of my favorite exercises that I do, especially the ones who complain a lot that they don't have enough time to do stuff. All right. So what I make them do is that I make them take a normal sheet of paper. I make them fold it into three equal parts. And on top of each of the sections, they have to write 8 hours. Okay. In the first part, it goes like this. In the first part, you write work, 8 hours of work. And in the second part, you write 8 hours of sleep. Now, after doing 8 hours of work and 8 hours of sleep, you still have another 8 hours at your disposal. Now, here, you start writing down what are the things that you would like to do in these 8 hours. Now, it is possible that you may say that you spend more than 8 hours at work, or that you travel for 2 hours to work, or to and fro to work, to your workplace. So my aim is to give you an idea, a concept. So you can tweak it the way you want. All right, just for example, right now, keep these 8 hours for yourself. Keep 8 hours for yourself and write down the things that you would like to do in these 8 hours separately. Now, I personally believe that how you spend your personal time of these 8 hours and how you spend your 8 hours in office cannot be approached the same way. Now, coming back to these 8 personal hours, what can you do in these 8 hours? You can spend time with your family. Yes, you can watch some Netflix. If you have pets, spend time with them. It's absolutely amazing. Do some yoga or exercise, go for a run, do some reading, spend time with your friends, listen to some podcast, do anything. There's a lot of things that you can do in these 8 hours. Now, the important thing for you to do is to measure the time spent on each of these activities. Now, how you do it is that you record all that you do every single day in these 8 hours. And then once you capture it for a couple of weeks, then you calculate time spent on various activities in terms of percentages. Now, how do you do that? What you do is that you bunch up the activities that you do under different categories. It can be family, friends, love, spirituality, self-development, fun, health, whatever. Everything that you do must come under one of these categories, and it should not be more than 7 or 8. And what I'm showing you now is a worksheet, which is basically an exercise that I need to do in productivity training, where you're basically figuring out how you want to design your life. All right, what are the areas that you need to be spending time in? So once you have it, you will have a graphic. So once you measure your activities and you bunch it up into these categories and everything goes into one of these, you'll see the percentages visually. Okay, now once you have the percentages, see where you want to do some tweaks. Okay, so that you have a more fulfilling life and a much better use of these 8 hours. For example, let us say if you're somebody whose value of family is very high, okay, your family value is very high upon your list of values, then make sure that maximum percentage of these 8 hours is in the family time. If it is friends, make sure that it is. So what happens is that we just pass through these 8 hours every single day without actually allocating any particular weightage to something that you should do. Sometimes some people say that I'm so busy with work, I have no time to meet friends. Not done. Then don't complain that you don't have friends. You don't have people you can count on. Everything takes work. Everything takes effort. So just because you are doing one thing, you cannot ignore the rest of the stuff. Okay, your work is one part of your life, one aspect of your life. Your health is one aspect of your life. How much ever you're doing, you're earning money, it's one aspect of your life. Okay, don't just focus so much on that one aspect that you just forget everything else. That's why here you will get an idea of how much are you actually spending in things that are important to us in the long run. Okay, so very important to do this exercise so that you get visibility of how you're spending your 8 hours. Okay, now do this exercise even if you don't have the Excel sheet. You will have write down the activities and figure out of 8 hours how many hours are you spending and what is your understanding after, what have you realized what you're doing, not doing, overdoing in your life, especially with respect to these 8 hours of personal time. Do share in the comments so that we all come to know and we all learn from each other. All right. Hi there. In the last module, I told you specifically that I will share how you can track and manage your office hours. All right. Now, when it comes to office hours, things have to be clinical. It has to be structured. It has to be a process so that there's a lot to be achieved every single day that you're working, and you need to make sure that you're spending the right amount of time to the right task that I shared right in the beginning. Right. So one of the most common and one of the most excellent framework that is used in managing time is called the urgent important matrix. Okay. Now it's also called the Eisenhower matrix. Now, interestingly, Dwight Eisenhower. Okay, now this is the person. He was twice the president of the United States, and before that, he was a 5-star general of the United States Army. And during the Second World War, he was the supreme commander of the Allied forces in Europe. Now, if that wasn't enough, he also found the time to be the supreme commander of NATO and served as the president of Columbia University for a time. He even made an honorary fellowship of the Metropolitan Museum of Art for his efforts to retrieve art taken by Nazis during World War II. And that's a lot of work, different responsibilities undertaken by one man. We agree that, right? So this was conceptualized by him, and it's been worked on further. So let's discuss what it is. Now, the urgent important matrix, okay, so basically there are 4 quadrants in it. It's divided into 4 quadrants, and all the work that you get gets divided into these 4 quadrants. So there are urgent and important tasks, there are not urgent but important tasks, there are urgent but not important tasks, and not urgent and not important tasks, alright? Now, your goal every day should be to divide your task into each of these categories so that you can use your time in the most effective way. Now, how do you identify what comes under these categories? Okay, let's look at each one of them, and I'll give you some examples. It may be very similar to you, it could vary for you, but you will get a fair idea of what would come under each of these quadrants. Let's look first at the urgent and important task. Okay, so these are the tasks that require your immediate attention, and this is something that build up or count towards your long-term goal or milestone that you need to achieve. Could be part of your KRA and stuff like that. Okay, what are the tasks that come under? It could be any crisis at work. It could be some project which has an immediate deadline, last-minute preparation for a presentation or a discussion. Call some board of directors or investors. If you have, there are some tax deadlines that you need to make sure that you get it done by then, or any other emergencies that come along the way during your work time. So what do you do when any of these tasks that come to you on your table? The thing is, you do it immediately. Do it now. Okay. Now let us look at the next one. These are important but not urgent. All right. So these are the tasks that we say that okay, I will get to it at once I'm finished with these work. They don't have pressing deadlines, but they're important to us in life. A lot of this also has to do with personal development and personal goal that we want to achieve in life. So they're not really work related and with the deadline and stuff like that. Now, but these help you achieve important goals as well with respect to work also. Now, these are, when it comes to work, these are mostly activity that goes into building relationships, keeping motivation high of your team and stuff like that. So what are some of the tasks that come under this? Let's look at important but not urgent. So weekly planning at work, your work schedule for the week, long-term planning for projects, team bonding sessions, very important but not urgent. Taking some course to improve your skills and qualifications, you keep putting it off saying that, okay, I will do it, I need to do it, but I'll do it, let me get this thing done. Talent scouting for your team, strategizing your next quarter, and all these things come under this quadrant. So what do you do when it is important but not urgent? What you do is you decide a time to do it and schedule it. So you block a time. Don't just leave it. You block a time in your calendar and say that, okay, this is the slot that I can do it and I will do it at this time. So if you don't block a time this in advance, it will never get done. It will keep getting postponed. All right. The third one is basically urgent and not important. All right. Now, these are the tasks. These tasks becomes priority for people who have this mentality that I want to be liked by all, because mostly it is third-party work that comes. These are tasks that require your immediate attention, but they are not really contributing or achieving to your goals, your deadlines, and your achievements, all right, or milestones. Now, and that is also one of the best way to identify that this particular task comes in this urgent but not important quadrant. So all you have to do is that you got to check whether this is from or for a third party that would help them achieve some of their goals and targets or some immediate requirement that they have. All right. So let's look at the task. So coworkers asking for an immediate favor. How yeah, please help me with this. Okay. Most telephone calls, most emails, coworkers asking for advice, routine meetings, etc. And all these things come under urgent but not important. So what do you do with this? You delegate it. Okay. Who can do it for you? Figure out. Your coworker needs to achieve something. He has a goal in mind and he has a task in mind. So other than you, who else can you offload this task to? Somebody who's not doing an important work that's similar to that you are doing. You can always take the help of somebody else. So try and delegate it to somebody else. Now the last one obviously is not urgent and not important. So these are the activities that come under fooling around, having fun. So since it is a lot of fun, we tend to spend a lot of time on these activities. Now what are these activities? Not urgent, not important. It's very self-explanatory. Checking social media, unimportant phone calls to friends. Phone calls to friends are important, but they are not during working hours that you're working on something important, right? Now smoke and coffee breaks. I'm not saying don't take coffee breaks or smoke breaks, but give it a finite time. Don't just go and start chatting. There's always a crowd, when you're going for coffee or smoke, you get into some other discussion and you realize that 30-40 minutes is gone. So that's something that you got to prevent. Online games, you take a break and say that let me just chill for 10 minutes. And online games are so addictive that you spend a lot of time on that. Discussing latest movies or stuff that are not work related. All right. So all these come under not urgent, not important. We all know what these are. Okay. Now what do you do with this? Simple. So delete or eliminate it as much as you can, or reduce it. Like coffee break is important, but decide that coffee break will be for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, not beyond that, irrespective of who's there and what discussion is going on. All right. So that is how you do this. But now, when you look at the matrix, you have to decide what is urgent and important. You'll be able to do it only after you track it and record it for at least a week, 10 days. Now, once you track your activities for the next 10 days, then you will figure out. Initially you won't be very sure about which quadrant it comes to. Some would be obvious, some you will not know. So once you do it for 10 days, then you'll get a fair idea looking at the chart. So everyone's value system is different. So based on that, our priorities also get set. Now, what I've done is that I've attached this workbook. Okay, this is there. So what I've done is that I have divided your 8 hours of work into 30-minute slot, covering 8 hours of work. All right. Now you have the option to choose urgent, not urgent, and important and not important in the sheet itself. And once you do it for 8 hours, it will give you a percentage split of how much percentage of your time is being spent on each of these quadrants. Now, once you have it, once you have the sheet, I'll be providing the download link for this. You can download it from there. Now, so work on the sheet for about 10 days till you get a hang of it, and then you'll be able to identify the right quadrant for every task that is coming along. So right now we don't know. We're just reacting. We're not responding. We're not understanding. We're not weighing the options. We're not checking whether it's important, not important, urgent, not urgent. We're just doing in a very reactive manner. So once you do this exercise, look at the sheet and see where you're putting in more time and where your time is getting wasted, or which task is in the wrong quadrant. So once you get a hang of it, then you will be able to manage your work, whatever work comes to you, in a much better way, and you'll be much more productive every single day at your work, whether it's at an office or whether it's you're working from home. Okay, do this diligently, and do let me know what you think of this Eisenhower matrix, and I want you to do it and then give a feedback of how it has helped you. Okay, welcome back, and now let us discuss another important but a very simple method. It's called the Ivy Lee method. Now, this is a very simple and effective method, and it was put forth in 1918 by a highly respected productivity consultant called Ivy Lee. Alright, now he uses this method to achieve high efficiency in time management and productivity, and it has some very, very simple steps. Okay, let's see what the steps are. Now, the first one is step 1. At the end of the workday, write down the 6 most important things that you want to achieve the next day. The thing is, you cannot write more than 6 things that you want to achieve the next day. Now, that is done. The second step. Okay. Now, once you write down the 6 steps, now you prioritize it, the tasks according to the most important to the least important. All right. Now, the third step is self-explanatory. When you go to work the next day, only focus on the first task and do not work on anything until you have finished it. That's step 3. Step 4 is tackle the rest of the list this way. Finish one task and then only move to the second task. Finish the second task and then so on and so forth. Okay. And the fifth one is very simple. Move any unfinished tasks that you have to the list of the 6 new tasks that you are setting up for the next day, and repeat the same thing every single day. All right. Now, you may feel that there is nothing great about this strategy. So let me give you a perspective. There is an American billionaire called Charles M. Schwab. He is a steel magnate and an American billionaire. All right. In 1918, he was asked by Ivy League to implement the strategy for free. Now, he implemented the strategy, and in 3 months, he saw such great transformation in productivity in his steel plant that he paid Mr. Ivy League $25,000 in 1918, and it is equivalent to $500,000 today. All right. Now, let's see, why is it so effective? First is that it is simple enough to actually work. A lot of people are not very comfortable maintaining Excel. It's like an additional work. You already have a task, now you got to put that into an Excel sheet also. Okay. So some people are good at it, some people are not very good at it. Now, plus another question that comes up is that it is too basic. It doesn't cater for emergencies that come up during your work time and stuff like that. Yes, emergencies and unexpected distractions will keep coming up. Okay, no matter what time management tool you use. All right, but you need to ignore them or put them off as much as you can. And if you really need to attend to an emergency or some other work, get that done and probably get back into your list and focus on your task to finish it according to the priority. All right. The second one is it forces you to make tough decisions. Now, remember that you are allowed to write only 6 tasks for the day. Now, here you need to put your mind at work and identify and focus on what tasks are important, the 6 tasks, and then once you get on it, you will have full focus on working these tasks, and you learn to remove all unwanted and unimportant ones, all the tasks that come along that might normally take up a lot of time. Okay, we discussed some of it in the Eisenhower matrix as well. So it teaches you to you have an agenda of 6 tasks that you are focused and working on, and then you learn to weed away unwanted tasks that comes. Next, it helps you get started, and that's one thing that a lot of us struggle with. You spend half of the day thinking, what needs to be done first. So in this method, you already know you have a limited number of tasks, and you're clear about what needs to be done first. So it removes any kind of confusion or ambiguity about what to start in the morning. And another big thing that it does is that it removes the concept of multitasking. There's a lot of people who say you must multitask to get multiple things done, and it has been proven to be a myth. I'll talk about this more in the productivity module, but multitasking is a myth, and the most important quality to finish any work is focus. All right. Remember that mastery of anything requires 2 qualities, that is focus and consistency, and that is what you build when you start implementing the Ivy League method. So I want you people to try this out and see what are your thoughts regarding that. Do you feel it is too simple? Do you think it's not going to work? Don't judge it before you try it out. All right. Try any method that you're given with your 100% commitment, and do it for a period of time.